Hey everyone, in today's exciting episode we are building this console table. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. This console table is built with red oak. It's a popular material choice for many woodworkers, and I really like how the grain pops in the red oak. As you can see here, I am breaking down the red oak into more bite-sized pieces. This makes it much more easier to maneuver and handle going through the table saw, and just easier to work with. Once I got all the pieces down to the size I wanted, I used a jointer jig to get one straight surface. This will be my reference point for this piece, and then I'm able to cut the other side with just the table saw fence. Once I got the one reference side on all the different pieces, I'm able to cut out all the pieces that I need, cutting out pieces for the legs, and even pieces for the stretchers. As for the legs, I decided to go with thicker legs, so I ended up gluing two pieces together. This gave me the width that I wanted, and I decided to taper the leg, which is why I glued these pieces together. I removed the excess with a scraper. Just as much as I could. I know I'll have to do some cleaning up afterwards anyhow. And as for the angle, I ended up going with 15 degrees. Once I got the angles I wanted, I built up this quick tapering jig. It's nothing fancy, but it worked with what I had, and I was able to cut the taper quite nicely with it. Oops, I forgot to increase the height of my table saw blade. I'm sure we've all been there before. But this is the tapering jig in action. It worked out quite well. It's a very Franken-style jig, but I'm happy with it. Slow and steady is key with doing tapers. Now there will be some burning, but sanding will make quick work of it. I'm also ripping down the stretchers as well. I have 3 long pieces and 4 short pieces that I need to cut out. Now I'm going to use the domino jig to set all my pieces together. Now I'm just marking out all the pieces so that they all align right, and I'm ready for the domino jig. I often like to double check and dry fit my pieces together just to make sure I have it all aligned and where I want it to be. Making sure there's no inconsistencies. With the legs glued together, I ended up using my hand plane just to quickly smooth the sides where the glue up was. It's a quick way to remove the glue, give a nice surface, and then I topped it off with sanding. I sanded up to where I was satisfied before gluing up, which is usually between 120 to 150 grit. It makes it much more easier to sand smaller pieces than sanding when the pieces are glued together. And with all of it sanded, I ended up softening the edges with a round over bit. This toned down the edges quite a bit, which I was very happy with the look. And with gluing up angles, I often use this trick with green tape and the angle that you're cutting with. So this piece would have a straight cut and a 15-degree angle to it. And this makes it so that when the pieces are where they need to be, the clamps are able to hold the pressure properly. Now for the glue stage. With so many moving parts, it's often a little stressful gluing up pieces like this. But the best thing to do is just plan out your attack on how you want to glue this and go through the steps and you'll be just fine. I made sure to clean up all the excess glue from the squeeze out and just make sure everything is where it needs to be. For the tops and bottoms of the shelves, I ended up doing a slight bevel. Just a 15-degree bevel to match the legs. I also routed the corners to soften it up as well. And now the fun sanding begins. Again, I just go through my grits, listen to good music, and just let the sander do the work. When I'm happy with it, I prep the wood by using mineral spirits to get rid of all the fine dust. This helps prep it for stain. So I did a Rubio monocoat 2-part stain. I started off with the Color Easy Mint White. This kind of helps subdue the redness in the red oak. I used a white Scotch-Brite pad to apply it onto the surface, and then I wiped off the excess with a cloth. And then I let that sit for 2 to 4 hours. It really did tone down the redness, which I was super happy about. I used Rubio monocoat Cotton White to finish off this piece. It really fills in the grain nicely and gives it the look that I'm going for. I applied it with a putty knife to let the finish go farther, and then I wiped it down with a cloth. Rubio monocoat is a one-time oil finish, which is nice. From what I read is that it only takes 7 days to cure, but you can handle within 24 to 36 hours, which I'm extremely happy with. I used figure 8 clips to attach the tabletop and the bottom shelf. And I used a 3/4 inch Forstner bit and then pre-drilled a hole and then screwed it on to the piece. I made sure not to make it too tight, so I had some wiggle room for expansion and contraction. Now I wish I was doing a magic trick here, but I'm not. I'm just using the cards to give me equal spacing for the bottom shelf. So I just find how many cards I need and then divide that in half, and that will give me my equal spacing. And there it is, a console table made out of red oak and kind of whitewashed to give it that nice beachy look. I really enjoyed this build, and I also didn't know that red oak can turn out this way, which I'm extremely happy about thanks to the Rubio monocoat. And thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. We appreciate each and every one of you guys, so thank you. And if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.